All right, we are live on YouTube, and tonight we're going to be discussing don't be anyone's backup boyfriend or girlfriend, how to quickly notice this and not waste any time. So stick around and find out exactly what I'm talking about. All of that and much, much more is coming right. Whoa! From Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. And also make sure on your smartphone, your tablet, your iPhone, your Android, or anywhere that you have the YouTube app installed on, you must also make sure that the YouTube app is set to receive those notifications at a device level. Do all that, and you're good to go. You're good to go. All right. Welcome to the show. We got a good crowd here already. Let me just make sure that the notification went out. Come on, iPhone. There we go. The notification did go out. The stream health is pretty good. It is excellent. And we are awesome here. We are awesome. All right, so let me get the chat here real quick, because tonight's show is probably going to be a little bit longer than the length of shows I've been doing lately, because this topic is very, very near and dear to my heart. As you can see in my background here, this is part of my alpha male strategies for men and women. And again, before I get to the chat here, the reason why I titled this series Alpha Male Strategies for Men and Women is because not only men can learn from these alpha male strategies, women can learn more about men, what men respond to and don't respond to, and what men are looking for, in women, even in the modern world. Since women have changed, they've been liberated, they are now doing things differently than they used to during the days of traditionalism. There's a huge separation that's been going on between men and women over the last 55 years since women were liberated. And it's gotten even worse over the past 5 to 10 to 15 years. And a lot of people are wondering, what's going on between men and women? Why are relationships failing? Why are marriages failing at a rate of 50 or 60%? More than 1 out of every 2 marriages fails. Why is that happening? Well, we're going to discuss all that here today, and I'm going to share with you folks my personal experiences. What really triggered me to do this topic is the fact that, most of you are aware I put myself back out on the market. I am looking to find a good woman to date. I'm looking to find true love. I'm looking to find a life partner, and I've been using online dating to do it because that's how people meet nowadays. I'm not opposed to meeting somebody in person, but, when you do it online, you each write a profile and you each, put out there what you're looking for. So you have an idea of what, each other is looking for before you start talking, right? But I had a woman that I was talking with recently that appeared extremely interested in getting to know me, and things changed. And she didn't tell me that they changed. I just picked up on it. I'm going to share that story with you here in just a few once I get through the chat. And then after that, I'm going to be dissecting a blog from one of my favorite websites, Psychology Today. I'm going to be reading a blog and dissecting and critiquing a blog with the title of The Psychology of the Backup Boyfriend or Girlfriend. One more time. The Psychology of the Backup Boyfriend or Girlfriend. So that's coming up, after I share my story. I'm probably going to take a break at about the 45-minute to 1 hour mark and then come back and finish the show. So that's how things are going to go here tonight. Now, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns during the live stream, please get your questions and comments in the chat. I want this to be very engaging. So Stephanie Ellis, aka Super Steph, Mutt Nuts World, Queen Helen Casey, or anyone else that's just lurking and not chatting, feel free to get your questions in the chat. I will let you folks know that my moderators are on high alert for trolls. We're not here for trolling questions. Any trolling questions will be banned by a moderator, more than likely Queen Helen Casey, because she's very trigger happy with that ban hammer. So don't even think about, putting out trolling questions, because they will not be acknowledged and they will not be answered. Don't try to make up stories. I'm going through this and that just to try to get me to answer something when you're actually a troll. I can tell and spot trolling questions, and so can my moderators, especially Queen Helen Casey. Right, Queen Helen Casey? So let me get the chat here real quick, and let's see who is here right now. Stephanie Ellis, aka Super Steph, stepping in to say hi. I'll be back in a little later when I'm home. All right, Steph, that's cool. Thank you so much. Look forward to having you here as part of the show. Mutt Nuts World says, hey, Eli and everyone. Hey, Mutt, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Queen Helen Casey says, hello, Eli. Smash the like button for Eli. Queen also says, hello, Mutt. Mutt Nuts World says, I am here just playing around with my new EcoDot. 3rd generation that I got for free. That is awesome. Share with us, Mutt. How did you get it for free? I'm curious to know. Let us know. All right, Queen Helen Casey says, we know who is lurking. Of course we do. We don't have to acknowledge them, though. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. They love the shows. They can't admit that they love the shows because they're real and honest and ethical, and that's what I do here. I run good, clean shows with great information, and I share my experiences with the hopes of other people that are going through similar things, learn from those things. So that way, they don't make those mistakes or make far fewer mistakes and know how to handle those situations better than I initially did. That's why I share my personal experiences. That's why I'm a coach. So, yeah, Mutt Nuts World says, hey, Queen. All right, so let me get right to it here. So the title of tonight's stream is Don't Be Anyone's Backup Boyfriend or Girlfriend, How to Quickly Notice This and Not Waste Time. That's the name of the game nowadays, folks. Okay? If someone is wasting your time, leading you to believe that they are the right fit for you. Let's say you're trying to get to know someone in the dating world, and they say a bunch of nice things about you. They show a lot of interest, but in actuality, they're talking to a few other people that they're more interested in. Okay, but they're still nice to you. What they're doing is they're putting you in backup status, because most people nowadays know that compatibility. Even though it was already very difficult before the modern world, compatibility has become even greater, a greater difficulty, which is what I'm trying to say, in the modern world because of the changes, that women have experienced. Women rising up, women being liberated, women having equal rights, equal work, or equal pay for equal work, women working in the workforce, women doing things and jobs that were once only known as jobs that men would do, right? So things have changed. So a lot of people, both men and women do this. I'm not just saying women do this. Both men and women put, prospects on backup status. But from what I notice, women do it much more often than men, because when a man is interested in someone, a man knows logically he's interested, and he wants to focus on getting to know that one woman. And let me tell you, as a man, keeping tabs with one woman is difficult enough, right? Why would I want to talk to one that seems to be the right fit and then talk to a couple more on backup status? I don't have time for that. I barely have time, to get to know one woman. Now, if that woman comes into my life, I will fit her in and make time for her if she deserves that time. What I don't want to do is invest time in someone that is not going to get anywhere, or is playing games, or puts me on backup status. So I just had an experience like this. It's happened several times, but I had a recent experience on this from a dating app that I've been using for a while. On Thursday night, after sending a message earlier that day to this profile I really liked, this woman got back to me and showed me a lot of interest. She responded to me with excitement. She said, I love how straightforward your profile is, how straightforward you are. It seems like you know what you want. You're in good shape. You take care of yourself. It sounds like you have your act together. I would love to get to know you. Okay. I said, great. I'd love to get to know you as well. How about we exchange numbers? We can text for a few, and then maybe later tonight we can have a phone conversation if you're around. Okay. So she gave me her phone number. I sent her a text. We texted a few times back and forth. We both continued on with our work day. And this was on Thursday afternoon, going into Thursday evening. And once I got my stuff done between my day job and YouTube, I texted her to see if she was free. And we ended up having a nice conversation that lasted almost 2 hours on Thursday evening. And this conversation was around 10 o'clock or so. And this woman had told me through text that she typically gets to bed by 10 o'clock. And, she said that, earlier she said she may be too tired during that time to have a conversation. Maybe we can talk another time. But I still text her. I said, hey, look, I'd love to hear your voice. It's exciting to know that you're interested at the level you seem to be. And I'm interested at that high level as well. Why not have just a brief 5 to 10 minute phone conversation? I promise you, I won't keep you longer than that, right? Well, once I got on the phone with her, she was so enjoying the conversation, she didn't want the conversation to end. That's how a lot of women are. A lot of women, when they're uncertain, they, are not going to want to give you a lot of time, or they'll say they're tired, or maybe they actually are tired. But if you, somehow get on the phone with them, like I did with this woman, and you start to share how good of a person you are, they like your voice, they like what you're saying, they like how respectful you're being, but how masculine you're being at the same time, okay? They get attracted to that, and then they want more. And then all of a sudden, that tired feeling they had, is rejuvenated because now they're excited. You've excited them, right? So I had this conversation. I had a conversation with this woman for almost 2 hours after initially she was too tired to talk. And I said, well, let's just talk 5 or 10 minutes. Just kept going and going and going. And she felt a great connection. I felt a great connection. I really liked it, right? Now, she told me, she goes, I'd love to meet you. You seem like a great guy. I'd love to meet you as soon as possible. I just really think you're a good guy. You just seem pretty interesting, and you're a great conversationalist. You're a great listener, blah, 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 right? Okay. So I said, when would you like to meet? She's like, how about Saturday? Okay. I'm like, Saturday's cool. And my pinched nerve has gotten better. It's not completely healed, but I'm able to walk around better, able to move around. And, I wanted to get out there and do a hike because that'll further, help me, get back on track, right? She suggested, why don't we go do a hike on Saturday? And I said, okay, why don't we talk tomorrow briefly before you go to bed, which will be Friday. This was on Thursday night we're having this conversation. And let's finalize the plans. See how you feel in the morning, blah, 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 right? So, and she said, yeah, well, I'm around. I'm an entrepreneur like you. So, I work from home. We can talk anytime during the morning. But I am going out with friends on Friday night. Okay, no worries. Cool. Yeah. Well, let's talk during the day around 11 or 12 noon. She said, that sounds great. Well, 11 or 12 noon, I was busy with some clients for my day job. So I wasn't able to get back to her until around 1 o'clock in the afternoon or so. And I said, yeah, hey, I'm free right now. Are you free for a call? She goes, not at the moment, unfortunately. Okay, no worries. Let me know when you're free. Maybe we can talk, another time. Maybe we can talk when you get back from hanging out with your friends later tonight, Well, she goes, that may be late, I'm like, well, what time do you think you'll be back? She said, I'll be back around 10:30 or so. Okay, no problem. But then she got back and said, I'm free to talk right now. Are you free to talk? I said, okay, great. Yeah. I got on the phone with her, and it just seemed like, she's a single mother. A lot of women are single mothers. I don't knock on that. It's just the way it is. I know some people from other communities don't like that. She's got older kids that can take care of themselves, but few of them still live with her. And, one of her kids kept on asking her questions and stuff. Plus, she's running her business. She just seemed, when I was talking with her, she just seemed to be very preoccupied with many other things. And, I was sharing more with her, what I do for a living, because I didn't share that with her the other night. I said, I'll tell you more about what I do for a living and what I'm transitioning into. But if I get into that now, we're going to be up all night. Why don't we talk with them on Friday? So I was trying to share with her, what I did for a living and all that. And it just really seemed like she was very, very preoccupied. And then she said, I hate to cut this short. This was about 10 minutes into it. But I just got a lot of things going on. I got to prepare for tonight. I'm going to be hanging out with my friends. I said, okay, well, I'd like to talk with you a little bit more to finalize the plans. Why don't we, talk when you get back? She goes, well, I don't know what time to be back. So what time do you think you'll be back? She said about 10:30 or so. I said, okay, listen, whether you're back at 10:30, 11, 12, even 1 in the morning, a lot of times I'm up late. I'm working on some stuff, and I don't require as much sleep as a typical person. So whenever you get back, no matter how late, send me a text, and more than likely I'll be up, and we can talk briefly and finalize the plans for our hike. She said, okay. Well, guess what happened? Did she text me on Friday night, going into Saturday morning after midnight? No, she did not. Okay? Now, initially, Queen's having fun with the trolls there. So initially, she had also said that, we could always talk on, Saturday morning, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, no matter what time you get back, just send me a text before you go to bed, and we can talk briefly a few minutes just to set the plans up so I can prepare in my head mentally for the hike. And then when I get up in the morning, I can be prepared and we can get out there and do what we had planned to do, right? So again, she did not contact me on Friday night after she got back. And then Saturday morning came. She didn't text me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to hold off on texting her. I'm going to wait until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon and see if she texts me, right? And when 1 or 2 in the afternoon came and she didn't text me, what do you think I was thinking? Most guys out there that understand modern day female nature or female nature in general know exactly what I'm thinking. So I had a feeling that she wasn't hanging out with her friends on Friday night. Again, I'm not with this woman. I'm getting to know her. I don't care if she's with some other guy. What I care about is her being honest with me and communicating with me that she's really interested, okay? Or putting me in backup status. So I highly, highly assume that she was with another guy and didn't want to tell me that because in my profile I stated, I'm only looking to get to know one woman at a time. I'm a one-woman man at a time. And I'm looking for the same in a woman. So she knew that. She knew that if she had told me she is going on another date, that I probably wouldn't be talking with her. Okay? Now, how do I highly assume that? Well, if she was really as into me as she said she was, and she said she would text me when she gets home no matter what time, or even if she was running late and hanging out with friends, how difficult would it have been for her to send me one quick text message that would have taken her 30 seconds to write out, saying, hey, Eli, I'm still with friends. I'm running so late. Let's talk tomorrow morning instead. All she had to do was send that one text, communicate and show that she's being respectful, right? But she didn't do it. You know why she didn't do it, in my opinion? Because she was preoccupied by another man, more than likely. I don't know this for a fact, but I highly assume it. And she said that she'll probably be home by 10:30, thinking that, well, if the date doesn't work out, I'll be back home by 10:30. And then I can go to my backup plan, Eli, right? But if the date does work and it goes on and I end up at his place or he ends up at my place and we do whatever and we're having fun, Eli doesn't matter anymore. And all those words I said to Eli, leading him on to believe that there's some great chemistry happened here initially between us, was a bunch of hooey. Just to put me in backup status. So, figuring all of that, let me tell you what I did after that. I sent her a text. I'm going to read these texts. I'm not going to put them on the screen. And I was being sarcastic by saying this. I was taking the mature approach, seeing how she would react. I knew she was okay, but I'm going to, I don't like to play games, but in this case, I'm going to play a little bit of a game because you're playing one with me. The thing is, I don't play games with anyone, but if you play a game on me, I will play a game on you 10 times better. I will call you out and you won't like it. Now, you may not like me calling you out on the truth, and you may overreact to it, but you're going to have a lot more respect for me as a man standing up for myself than believing your BS, right? So I text her at 2:30 p.m. This was earlier today, Saturday. And I wrote, "Are you okay? ? I didn't hear from you last night or this morning for our hiking plans today. You ready to hear the BS lame-ass excuse? Ready to hear that?" This is what she wrote. She wrote, "Hi," and she had the clapping emoji, "got home late," no kidding, "and went on a hike early this morning without me as we had planned. I needed some alone time. I have some serious decisions to make." Yes, you certainly do have some serious decisions to make. Either you've already been dating someone or you were going on a first date with someone else that night before, or just thinking about it right now, maybe she's already been seeing someone and has been uncertain about it and wanted to keep me in backup status. But because it went better than she expected, she basically spent more time with him, maybe spent the night at his place, maybe they had some fun, right? But she still wanted to keep me in backup status because maybe this guy is just a temporary sex partner or something, right? Maybe the sex is good. Maybe she's enjoying that through him and wants to experience that a little bit more before she goes with the good guy, which is me, right? Placing me in backup status. So here's what I wrote back to her. I don't put up with any of this crap, and neither should any of you. I wrote, "Well, I'll make one of your decisions very easy. Best of luck to you, ! You had me actually believing you felt a great connection. You could have sent me a quick and short text to communicate that with me last night, but obviously it wasn't important enough for you to do so." So in essence, her leading me to believe that she felt a great connection and she's interested in me over anyone else, okay, was a bunch of crap. If she actually felt that way, she would have felt I was important enough, regardless of who she was with, to send me a quick text to let me know that, hey, I'm going to be out later than I think. I'm having a good time with my friends. And, I'll talk to you in the morning, right? Even if she was with another guy, she could have gone to the bathroom and sent that quick text, which would have given her more credibility. Still not a good thing to do, but, it would have at least satisfied me to not think what I'm thinking now, right? You must have been pretty occupied to not even send a very quick text after all of the promises you made. Let me repeat that one more time. You must have been pretty occupied to not even send a very quick text after all of the promises you made. In other words, I was politely and maturely telling her, you were out banging some other guy last night and didn't want me to know about that, so you led me to believe you're hanging out with friends. In other words, she got another man, or she's had another man, Queen. Now, here's what I wrote next. Oh, well, back to the drawing board. What else are you going to do there? I'm laughing at this, right? This is great. This is great material to use for my show. Thank you, lady, right? Oh, well, back to the drawing board, I wrote. Then I wrote this. I said, I just wanted you to know you aren't dealing with a dumb shit here. One more time. I just wanted you to know you aren't dealing with a dumb shit here. No response necessary. Best of luck to you and take care! Exclamation point. She got back to me 1 minute later with a quick text. Wow. Okay. Take care. No, lady. I got you. I figured out your game. I told you initially that I'm not a game player and I'm a very intuitive man. Most men in this world are not intuitive by nature. It's a feminine characteristic, but some men are blessed to have the intuition in similar ways as women do. Now, it doesn't make us any less of a man. It makes us a better man because we can pick up on the BS like you tried to pull on me. See, I told you my intuition is good and nothing gets past me. So you should have picked up on the fact with your intuition that you trying to pull on me what you did was not going to work. And I was not going to invest a second of my time, a second more of my time, which is what I'm trying to say, to be backup status. Whether you're already, seen another guy and you're not sure if it's going to work out, or you just had another first date last night and it seemed to go pretty well. So now you kind of want to, see how that goes along with getting to know me as well on the back burner. All she said was, wow, okay, take care. What are you going to do? Admit that you were playing me? What are you going to do? Admit that you were putting me on backup status? No, you're not going to admit that. But let me tell you something. It feels good for me as a man to not be fazed by women in this way. I'm not. It also feels good to know that despite the fact that you may not be happy that I called you out on this, because now your game is over with me. But even if you don't like the fact that I called you out on it, deep within you have a lot more respect for me standing up for myself against your BS than playing along with it. Folks, there's a difference between, someone being mad at you and them respecting you at the same time. Never, ever, ever put up with any crap like that. Never. You are much better than that, and your time is more valuable than that. Obviously, to me, this woman has a lot to work through. And if she is the type of woman that would initially do this after only a few days of knowing me, can you only imagine what she would try to pull on me in a relationship? Can you only imagine what she would try to get away with? That right there shoots all credibility with me. That right there is a fatal error to the point of where I'm not even going to talk to you anymore. I didn't even want to respond to her by text. Normally I wouldn't. You know why I responded to her? Because I was curious to see how she was going to respond, and I was going to make a show out of it tonight. You see how I flipped it? You see how I flipped that bad situation? I stood up for myself. And then now I'm making a show out of it to share with you folks how to handle similar situations you may be in. All right. So we are at 29 minutes and 23 seconds. Let me check out the chat here real quick. Got 22 people in the box. Thank you so much for being here. Muttnuts World says, I got it free when I signed up for 3 months on Sirius XM radio for $1.09. Awesome. That's great, Mutt. Awesome. Congratulations on that. Do you listen to Howard Stern on XM Sirius XM Radio? Let me know. Let me know here, and yeah, give me 1 second here. I want to check a couple of names here. Queen, I'm not sure if Howie Miller is a troll or not. Queen, I'm going to go ahead and unban Howie Miller. I just checked out his channel, and he's been around since 2015. I mean, it could possibly be a troll, but that was not a trolling comment. He said, "Your time is worth more than that. Great words, great theme." That's a compliment on the show title. Yeah, so keep an eye on Howie Miller, Queen. I unhid him. Howie Miller, you are unhidden. So far, you have not said anything trollish, but in case you are a troll, if you do say something trollish, Queen Helen Casey will reban you. So, yeah. Mutnuts World says, no, just country music. Okay, so you purchased XM, Sirius XM satellite radio just for the country music. I mean, you have a package with many channels, right? Anyway. All right, folks. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch over to, I will keep an eye on him. Okay, thanks, Queen. I'm going to switch over to the browser source screen, and I'm going to get to this blog, and we're at the 31-minute mark right now, and at the 45-minute mark, I'm going to take a 5 to 7 or 8 minute break, and then come back and finish this up here. All right, so this is another blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today, and it was written by Glenn Geher, PhD. And his company, I guess, is called Darwin's Subterranean World. Darwin's Subterranean World. That's pretty interesting. Again, the title of the blog is The Psychology of the Backup Boyfriend or Girlfriend. One more time. The Psychology of the Backup Boyfriend or Girlfriend. And below it says, The Psychology of Keeping Someone on the Back Burner. I love those words. The psychology of keeping someone on the back burner. You know what the back burner is? You know when you have the stove and there are like 4 burners, right? You got the 2 in the front and the 2 in the back, right? That's called the back burner, right? Typically, when you're cooking, you're going to use the burners closer to you, right? And then if you have to add something else, you know, if you're doing a big meal and you need to use more than, 2 pots or pans, then you use the back burner, right? You first use the front burners and then you use the back burners only when necessary, right? But nowadays, relationships, and both men and women love to use the back burner to keep prospects somewhat interested, thinking that they have a chance while they're dating somebody that they feel more interested in or attracted to, but are uncertain about how it's going to go, right? These are the types of people that if their main squeeze that they're focusing their energy on doesn't work, they want someone to immediately fall back on because they don't like to be alone. And here's the thing, folks. It's very important to understand this so you're in a good place. If you're not okay being alone with yourself, there's no way you're going to be able to be okay in a relationship and make a relationship work. One more time. In order to have happiness in a relationship, you got to be okay with being alone first. Because if you're not okay with that, then you're going to be dependent on that relationship for your happiness. And then it's just not going to work out over the course of time. A relationship is about 2 people coming together to share each other's completeness together. The 2 people, the man and the woman in this case, are each complete. The man's complete within himself, the woman's complete within herself, and they come together and share their completeness together and have a happy, prosperous life together. Anyway, let's get right to it. This blog was written on January 4th, 2019, so about a year and a half ago. Still fairly new. This guest post was primarily written by Nicole Wedberg, MA. Okay, so there's a guest post there. Imagine this scenario. Pam is engaged to Roy. Pam also has a close friend at work. Wow, close friend at work, huh, Pam? His name is Jim. Pam and Jim enjoy each other's company, buy each other the occasional vending machine snack, listen to each other's complaints about work, etc. I see. So there's an attraction there, right? So Pam is engaged to Roy, but she has the hots for Jim. If you've seen The Office, of course, you know exactly how this story ends. Of course, we know how it ends. I mean, us alpha males like myself knows or know how it ends. We're trying to help the beta males out there, or the men that just don't get this or haven't learned this yet. We want to educate as many men and women as well how to understand this and read this, so you're not a victim of this and it doesn't waste your time. At first, we try to accept that Jim is in the friend zone. Friend zone is horrible. I do not believe in the friend zone at all. The friend zone is a big no, 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 no. No, 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 no. A woman will never respect you being in the friend zone. Unless you're actual friends. Like if you're a guy that is seriously happy being friends with certain women that you don't see a romantic interest for, and vice versa from them to you, that's not a problem. But if you're attracted to her physically and you have even a slight bit of a romantic interest for her, the friend zone is a big no-no. Big, 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 big no-no. You'll never get out of it, ever, ever. Okay. At first, we try to accept that Jim is in the friend zone, but this just isn't so. It is impossible to deny that they have chemistry. Jim is not merely a friend. I wouldn't be surprised if they're hooking up other places or even at work. As the story unfolds, sorry for the spoiler, Pam and Roy's relationship ends. No kidding. Wow. A new relationship begins with Pam and Jim, and the two of them go on to live happily ever after. 2 girlfriends ago, not my last girlfriend, 2 girlfriends ago. We were happy together. And we were talking about getting married, having a life together. And about a year into it, or a little less than a year into it, she cheated on me. And then literally less than a year after she cheated on me, she married the guy she cheated on me with, and she's still with him today. Now, no problem if you have chemistry with somebody else and you don't feel it anymore for the person you're with. But as a woman, communicate that with the man you're with. But no, that's not what women do, especially women that are dependent on a man for their happiness. And these are the types of women, and men can be this way too, but I'm just speaking about women right now. These are the type of women that cannot be without a man. So before they can leave the man they're with, they have to line up a replacement like my 2 exes ago did, and test the waters to see if they have chemistry in all ways behind my back. And then once that blossoms to the point of where she feels that he's ready and she's ready to take that relationship to the next level, at that point, that's when the shit hits the fan. In my case, I found out about her cheating because I was at her place and she, said she was going out with friends and didn't come back till the next morning and her hair was messed up. It was pretty obvious what she was doing. Right? But what I didn't know is for several months before that, she was seeing this guy behind my back, especially times that I wasn't, spending some nights at her place, right? Again, what did she do? She had someone on the back burner. She was lining up a replacement because apparently she was feeling that she wasn't getting what she thought she was going to get out of me. No problem. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But why couldn't you tell me when you felt that? You see, that's what happens here. You could argue here that Jim started out as Pam's backup boyfriend. Yes, that's what he was. She wasn't happy. She wasn't happy about, something regarding Roy, or she was feeling more electricity with Jim, right? So you could argue here that Jim started out as Pam's backup boyfriend. He was waiting in the bullpen and ready to step up to the plate the moment Roy was benched. As a man, if I was Jim, I would have never accepted backup status, ever. I've never been the type of guy to approach a woman when she's with another man. Never. It's just wrong. And even if she leaves a man she's engaged to be with you, don't you think that if she did that to him, she won't do that to you? Why would you want to be with a woman like that? And for women, on the flip side, why would you want to be with a man like that, right? Whether Pam was consciously aware of the fact that she had a backup boyfriend is another matter. She was completely aware. Women nowadays know exactly what they're doing. They'll play dumb because they don't want you to call you out on it. And most men are not intuitive enough or at all to figure it out. But they know exactly what they're doing. The modern woman nowadays knows exactly what she's doing. But objectivity, that's exactly what Jim was. We are at 41 minutes. Let me check out the chat here real quick. Howie Miller, I've watched from time to time. Enjoy your show. I'm a bartender, so I often work late. Well, great. Thank you for being here, Howie Miller. I appreciate that, man. Sorry about that. I get trolled very heavily here, and Queen is my head moderator. I mean, all my moderators are great. Sometimes, they think that certain, messages are trolling. But I appreciate you being real, and thank you for being here. If there are any questions you'd like to ask, I'd be happy to answer them throughout this show. We're going to be on for about another hour or so. All right, let me go through one more paragraph, then I'm going to take a quick break. Okay. So I think this is a familiar scenario to a lot of people in the real world. I've been through it many times. Many times while getting to know women before dating them, or before, a relationship would start, and in some cases, while I was dating them. And that's what makes it so relatable in the show. Even women who are already with Mr. Right, Jim in our example, sometimes still have a Mr. Plan B. The reason is because women always think there's always something better out there. Women, from the days of, men and women being created by a higher power that I know to be God, women have always been biologically programmed to seek out the strongest man to procreate with. And even though there are many women out there nowadays that don't want to have kids, their biology has not changed. They're still seeking out the strongest man, the most attractive man, the most successful man, right? And they could be with someone that out of 100% is 99% perfect, and they still want to see if they can find the 100% perfect man, which we all know doesn't exist. Same thing with women. A 100% perfect woman doesn't exist, right? And what happens? What happens? Okay. So she leaves Roy to, go with Jim because for some reason Jim turns her on more or something like that, right? But what happens in a lot of these situations? It ends up not working out with Jim. And what do most women in her situation do at that point? They reach out to Roy and say, hey, how you been? And Roy's wondering, why the fuck you contacting me? In his head, he's not saying that, right? But if she texts, Roy, when her and Jim don't work out, and says, Roy, how you been? Oh, I'm surprised to hear from you. Yeah, I messed up. Can we talk? See, if I was Roy in that situation, I would say, you know what, you had your chance and you blew it. I'm sorry, I'm not interested, right? But some guys will give in because that's how they see themselves. They see themselves as a low-value man. If you see yourself as a high-value man, an alpha male, you're not going to put up with that crap. You're better than that. You rise above that. And see, that's what's attractive to women. You see, in that situation, hopefully, if that were to happen or happened, let's say in this situation, Roy should stand up for himself, which would further make Pam feel that attraction because Roy is now rejecting her, saying that you're no longer good for me. You screwed up. Roy's not allowing Pam's, good looks and charm to get to him. All right. Let's see here. Mr. Right, Jim, in our example, sometimes we'll still have a Mr. Plan B, just in case, or at least that's how it seemed to me when I was in graduate school. I bartended nights and weekends, and I couldn't help but notice this phenomenon going on around me. It's been happening for a while. It's always happened, right? But it's funny, over the last 10 years, or so, it's been happening at a much more staggering rate, like 10 times greater. You know why, in my opinion? Because of these damn things, the iPhone and the Android. We have dating apps on our phones. We put a profile out there. We send a bunch of messages. We have 10 or 15 men or women talking to us at once. And we're curious about every single one of them, right? And even if we find that one that we feel is most compatible, we still want to talk to other people because we're not sure where that main one's going to go or if they're really interested, even if they've expressed they're interested. Go back to watch the first part of the stream and hear my story regarding that. It was an interesting one. All right, we are at 47 minutes. Okay, so let me see how much longer this blog is. Let me do this here. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, it's going to probably be another 45 minutes to an hour when I get back. There's probably about 10 paragraphs to go over. Okay, so let me just set this up here. So when I get back, I know exactly where to leave off. And let me switch back over to full screen for the moment. I'm going to read the chat real quick, and then I'm going to step away for a break. Muttnuts World says, yeah, I think it's over 100 channels. Great. Queen Helen Casey, I miss having Sirius XM. Queen Helen Casey also says, when I used to date, I never gave anybody a second chance, even though I was too stupid to allow too many chances of my last ex-boyfriend. Well, Queen, I think we've all been in that position where after we're with someone for quite some time and we're very emotionally attached to them, it is very difficult to remove and get rid of that emotional attachment no matter what they do. So we tend to give people chances, right? But the truth of the matter is, whenever something like that happens, depending on the severity of it, okay, there are certain things that are forgivable, in my opinion, and there are other things that are not. The thing I'll never forget is cheating. Cheating is an unforgivable offense. You cheat, you're out, right? Other things, little white lies, this and that, you can work through those. You still should be honest with your partner. I learned that the hard way because in my last relationship, I kept a few white lies from my ex, not because it hurt her or our relationship. I just didn't want her getting the wrong idea about me. And what I realized is that that was a downfall to my relationship. It wasn't the only thing, but it was one of the primary things. being open and honest and having integrity and being able to trust is essential to making any relationship work. I just love the thumbnail of this show. I've just got to show it to you on my iPhone here. You see that? You like that thumbnail? And look who's down below there. It is Darren Beedman from the MGTOW is the Only Way to Live channel. By the way, Darren, aka MGTOW is the Only Way to Live. If you're watching, I've caught up on your videos on your channel regarding your pinched nerve. Darren, who runs the MGTOW MGTOW is the Only Way to Live channel, has had a pinched nerve, but he said that he's been suffering from the symptoms for over 2 years. I'll be honest with you, Darren, my symptoms have been improving, and I feel so much better to the point of where I'm able to do a 2-hour stream tonight. That should say a lot, right? And from what I read online is, and the videos I've watched, if you do the correct exercises and you don't, and you start to sit properly and you have the right posture, you'll start to get relief and heal within about 6 to 8 weeks or so. But at the same time, the doctors and the chiropractors and the physical therapists online that talk about pinched nerves say that if you have a bulging disc, which pretty much is what causes the pinched nerve, because the bulging disc bulges out the jelly and it compresses your nerve, and that's what gives you the pinched nerve and gives you the pins and needles feeling in your hands and in your feet. Even if your symptoms are not there and you don't feel the pins and needles anymore in your hands and feet, and you feel normal, a bulging disc takes about a year to completely heal. So you have to you have to get a lot of rest, and when you're sitting, you got to sit with your back straight, and you got to have the right posture. This has been a big lesson learned to me, folks, having this pinched nerve, because it's all about posture, how you sleep, how you sit on your chairs, how you lean forward, right? How you lift, bend your knees if you lift. Don't use your back, right? You can strain your neck. You can strain your back, pull a muscle, right? Have a back spasm, right? So, great job on those videos, Darren, and I look forward to seeing what you put out there next. And I wish you the best of luck and your success. And by the way, I know you were mentioning that you used to troll me with a lot of people from the MGTOW community. Not a big deal, bro. Live and learn. We've known each other probably for 3.5 years now. We're grown-ass men, and I'm very happy that you've come at me maturely. I understand that, my content is not exactly in alignment with your beliefs about modern-day relationships and women, but that doesn't mean I don't like who you are or don't respect your work. I think you're a great guy, and I greatly appreciate that, bro. With that being said, folks, I'm going to take about a 5 to 7 or 8 minute quick break and then come back and finish the blog. So stick around. Do not go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. relaxing. It's so relaxing. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that music. It's so relaxing. The YouTube audio library really isn't that bad after all. Come on, folks. It also prevents you from getting content ID claims and copyright strikes. Come on. Don't complain about it. Don't complain about it. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube. I love YouTube. I love, absolutely love YouTube. Welcome back. Tonight, we are discussing a very interesting topic. The title is Don't Be Anyone's Backup Boyfriend or Girlfriend. How to quickly notice this and not let it waste your time. That's the last thing you want in your life, is someone to waste your time, someone to lead you on, someone to promise you certain things and then not come through. But that's only half the battle, because some people are so good at manipulating you to get what they want, or temporarily get what they want, that they can lead you to believe that, they're your soulmate. So that way you can keep on giving them what they need, and once they get what they need, then they go away. Just like 2 ex-girlfriends ago, the one I was talking about earlier in the show, the one that cheated on me. Okay, she needed certain things from me. I'm not gonna get too far into it. I've talked about this in the past, and won't get into it tonight. But she needed certain things from me to be able to turn her life around and survive. So that way, she can be with the man she really wants to be with. Because had I not done what I did for her during the almost year or so I was with her before she cheated on me and then went out with this guy, she would have gone bankrupt. She would have had to move back home. She would have not been able to pull through. And let me tell you, folks, that relationship really stunk. I did not expect that. Nobody expects that. I'm not even sure if she even knew that was going to happen. But something happened in the middle of the relationship. This guy came along. This guy was someone that was hired at her workplace about 8 months or so after we started dating. He started flirting with her, and she probably tried to resist at first, probably felt bad, but then I guess this guy's good looks and charm overpowered her better judgment, and then these things happen. Hey, shit like that happens, right? But at that point, the respectful thing for her to have done is be honest about it up front. But because she needed other things from me to survive, to have that relationship work with this guy, she played me. And folks, you got to sit there and try to identify and learn to identify how to see these things when your partner is not telling you these things. You got to look for subtle changes in their behavior. When a woman is really into you, she's going to show you that she's into you. She's going to be affectionate with you all the time, and she's not going to get mad at you. She's going to be smiling and happy. If she's not doing that, there's a problem, even if she says there is no problem. That's the point where you have to decide whether it's worth moving forward or not. And in those cases, most of the time, it's not worth moving forward. But even when I noticed that before I found out she was cheating, I just overlooked it like most men do, because you get emotionally attached and it's hard to detach from that. What I want to teach both men and women here is to learn to detach emotionally for your better sanity. Sometimes you got to take a hit earlier on and let that emotion go, because if you don't, it's going to be a lot harder to deal with as it gets worse. So that's the advice I want to give to start off the second half of this show here. Let me check I Don't Care Animations. I know they were banned. They just said hello. Let me check their channel. Let me just check and see. They don't have an about section. So I'm going to just type in /about. And they have 45 subscribers. Okay. And let me see. Okay, Queen, I'm going to go ahead and unban I Don't Care animations because they don't seem to be a troll, but just in case they come back and they do some trolling, keep an eye on them. So I Don't Care animations, I'm going to go ahead and unban you. You do have 45 subscribers and you've been around for a while. My apologies for that. Like I mentioned earlier, we're very protective over here. I've been trolled very heavily, and Queen Helen Casey is my head moderator, top moderator. And if anything remotely close to appears to be trollish, people get banned. You came in and you said hello. Folks, if you're going to come in and chat in the chat, say more than hello. Hello can be perceived as a trolling technique. Say, hey, how's everyone doing tonight? It's my first time here, right? Put a little more effort into, typing something when you first encounter new creators or a current creator's live stream chat for the first time. And that's going to, give yourself a little more credibility. All right. So let's get back to it here. Let me switch back over to the browser screen. And let's continue with this blog because it is kind of long. Romantic partner insurance as a mating strategy. What the heck is romantic partner insurance? Boy, is that something you can purchase? Well, I've never seen it. I'm an insurance broker during my day job, and I've never heard of that. Maybe it's a figure of speech. Humans employ a wide array of mating strategies. Gangstad and Simpson 2000. The research here focused on some of the mating strategies of heterosexual women. Prior research has shown that women will actually modify their behavior depending on what type of relationship they're looking for. Okay, so in essence, women will adjust their behavior according to, the type of relationship or maybe type of guy they're looking for. If they're getting attention from a super good-looking guy that's a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, but, he's different than what she normally goes for personality-wise. In essence, sometimes women will change their personalities to be with someone like that, which is the wrong reason to be with someone. It's just never going to work out in the long run. Those looking to settle down with Mr. Right will dress with more elegance and emphasize behaviors that indicate loyalty and interest in fidelity. Those looking for more of Mr. Right now will flaunt their sexuality a bit more. So what that's saying is that you ever seen those women that and men that go on Instagram or Facebook or sometimes even on YouTube videos where they'll put pictures out there or do videos with their butt sticking out sideways and their boobs leaning forward, or men with their shirts off and all that. Okay, those are people that are not people you should be in a relationship with. Those are people that are just looking to get attention. They're looking to get attention from their body, and they're looking to find the hottest man or woman to have sex with, to have a friends with benefits with, or to have a casual fling with, right? Okay? And to be quite honest with you, it's very hard for me to respect people that live their life in that way. I'm not saying that, I don't have any respect for you. I mean, it's the way you want to live your life. I'm not here to tell people, how to live their life. I'm here to help people get what they want. Just because I don't agree with something doesn't mean that, it's not what you want or it doesn't work for you. It just doesn't work for me. If you want a casual fling or if you want friends with benefits, no problem, as long as you're open and honest with the person you're with. Don't lead someone to believe that, you're looking for a relationship just so they can have a casual 2 or 3 month relationship with, and then after 3 months you get up and leave, right? After having led that person to believe that you were there for a relationship when in essence it was a casual fling, and had you told him or her that all you were looking for was a casual fling, they would have never given you the opportunity, right? A lot of people will do that. It's a manipulative tactic. Those looking for more of a Mr. Right Now will flaunt their sexuality a bit more. Even among other women on the prowl, female mating strategies morph into something more competitive. Those who are generally more narcissistic in nature tend to display intersexual competition more frequently than others. An example of this might be one woman giving another false compliment. Right, I was just talking about that. Or leading you to believe they want something that you want just to get what they want out of you, right? You got to learn how to decipher that. You got to ask a lot of questions, right? You got to look at the way they dress. You got to look at the way they talk, right? And don't get, sucked into, this happens more so with men, but it can happen with women too. A lot of men will get fazed by a sexy woman's looks. A lot of men that typically don't attract 9s or 10s on a scale of 1 to 10, if one pays them attention and is trying to get something else from them in order to be with them, the man will give in because they've never had attention from a woman like that before. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Just because a woman is hot doesn't mean she's the right woman for you. And if you get involved with a woman like that, it's going to cause you a lot of issues in the long run that you will have wished you never had to deal with. A lot of repercussion comes with that. Okay? So again, an example of this might be one woman giving another a false compliment, telling a woman at the bar that you love her shoes when actually you think your crush will find them hideous, is one way to try and eliminate some competition for your desired mate. Yeah, a lot of times women are very spiteful and vindictive by nature. And some women, and men do this too, feel the need to devalue or kick others down to raise their value, when in essence, that's lowering their value without them even realizing it. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic, and it's immature, and it's insecure. That's what it is. It is not a very kind approach, but it happens. It's definitely not a very kind approach. It's horrible. It's a horrible approach, and it's a horrible way to live your life as a human being. Horrible way to live your life. And guess what happens when you treat people that way? It not only comes back to you, it comes back to you tenfold. It comes back to you tenfold. Karma will bite you in the ass. Crime Steve, you're spamming my chat right now. I'm going to check out your channel here. I don't like it when somebody spams my chat that much. 203 subscribers. Okay, you're a real channel. Crime Steve, do me a favor. Please do not overly spam my chat. I'm going to let you stick around for now. But, wait to get some responses before you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 messages in a row. Crime Steve, what if you aren't aware the person had feelings after it was said or done, after a relationship, but were friends and kept it cordial? So be a little more specific with that, Crime Steve. You said, what if you aren't aware the person had feelings after it was said or done, after a relationship, but were friends and kept it cordial? So basically you're friends with a woman, or she's friends with you, and one of you had feelings and you never expressed those feelings. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Let me know a little more information regarding that, Crime Steve. For 3 years, it came out of the blue, but great insight. You turned your show around. It's more professional. So Crime Steve, you're a troll from the other side. So who are you, man? You're here on a stock account? Like, who are you? Can you be honest, dude? Because look, if I'm going to help you and other people, I appreciate honesty. Let me know who you are, dude. Entertain. Check my blogs. Been with all kinds of girls. All kinds. True. Personality is better than a sexy, dull person. I'm debunking, says Crime Steve. Stop spamming, says Queen Helen Casey. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought she was a good friend. So was she into you, dude, or were you into her? Like, were you just friends with her? Were you physically attracted to her? Did you like her personality? And if you felt that way towards her and you were attracted to her and you found out that she feels that way, then why won't you give each other a chance? Or were you such great friends that you didn't feel like risking losing your friendship by getting into a relationship? And if that didn't work out, then you lose the friendship as well, right? That happens sometimes. That happened to me in my younger days. With a woman, if I look back, I wish I would have given her the chance, because I would have probably had 4 or 5 kids with her and been happily married. And I was attracted to her. She was beautiful, and she was an awesome woman, and she was really into me for the right reasons. And I liked her too. I met with her one time on a date. Before that, we were friends. She used to even date a friend of mine. That was kind of weird too. And we were making out, and it felt great. And she wanted me to sleep with her. She wanted me to have sex with her. She wanted me for the right reasons. And I was turned on. Like, I was super turned on. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I thought about our friendship, and I couldn't do it. And I've never had that happen with any other woman before. Any other woman, it would just happen. With her, I had so much respect for her. Almost like she was a sister to me. And maybe that's what it was. It was friends, but I noticed signs, but I was so busy with drama and life offline and dealing with my issues. She helped me through it all and was with me with girls as a friend. So you were never intimate with her. You never had sex with her. You never slept with her. Okay, maybe you didn't want to take it to the next level. Like, if you really, dude, when a guy is really into a woman, he'll try to make a move. So apparently she was more into you than you being into her. That's what it sounds like to me. It all fit together and came to me. Okay, cool. I'll check back on the chat in just a few here. Let me get back to the blog here. Okay. So how does this relate to Pam? I looked into existing research to see if this backup boyfriend idea had ever been studied. As it turns out, Dibble et al. 2015 found that college women on average have 3.78 Mr. Plan Bs. Wow. So college women have 3.78, almost 4 guys lurking in the background, in the back burner, or on the back burner. So if you're dating a college chick, just know she's got 4 guys, almost 4 guys in backup status. Wow. You see, I'm a confident person that's secure within myself. I'm not the jealous type. But I know if a woman allows 4 guys that are into her to be friends with her, and she's keeping them on as a backup plan, what that's saying is that she's uncertain to a certain level about our relationship. And that makes me feel uncomfortable because she's straying, right? Wow, that's a staggering number. In fact, roughly 2/3 of all college students who are in a committed relationship openly admit to having at least one Mr. or Mrs. Plan B. I decided to narrow my sample to only heterosexual women and study this a bit more in depth. The reason, doctor, why you're saying that, it's not because men don't have backup plans. Sometimes men will have a backup plan or two, but women more so, more often than not, have a lot of backup plans compared to men. This is something more so that women do because a lot of women don't want to be alone, and they can't be alone, or they can't live without a man or the company of a man or the intimacy or whatever, right? So if their main squeeze is not working out and they've got, 4 replacements lined up, if that main relationship doesn't work out, then she's like, okay, I got 4 people I can choose from. Which guy do I call right now and make his night, right? Now, see, I'm the kind of guy that recognizes and realizes when I'm on the back burner, and I don't put up with that. I'm never anyone's back burner. I'm never anyone's backup plan, and neither should you. If you allow a woman to put you as your plan, as her plan B, as a backup plan, you are a beta male. You are a beta male, and you see yourself as a low-value man. And if you see yourself as a low-value man, even if she were to give you a chance when her main squeeze doesn't work out, eventually she'll lose respect for you. and she'll leave you anyway. So why allow any woman to put you on the back burner? Same thing for, you ladies. Why allow any man to put you on the back burner? Why? It's a big insecurity when people do that. It's one of the biggest insecurities out there. Okay, first I had to define what it was that I was actually studying. With the help of Glenn, who was my thesis advisor, and other members of the new Paltz Evolutionary Psychology Lab, I coined the term partner insurance. Okay, that's where you got it from, Doc. Just as you might have homeowners insurance in the unfortunate event that your house burns down, maybe women have partner insurance. Wow. Excuse me. That doesn't exist. But he made that up. Pretty funny, though. Maybe women have partner insurance. A backup boyfriend, that's what it is. Partner insurance is the backup boyfriend, the back burner. Okay, I get it now. Ready and waiting in case your current relationship burns down. If this is indeed a discernible phenomenon, A, how do we measure it? And B, what predicts it? Well, you can't measure it and you can't predict it. It's just things that some women, maybe most women do, and some men, maybe many men do it, right? I think the better way to look at it, Doc, is to learn how to identify when women place you on the back burner or when men place you on the back burner, ladies. And one of the best ways to identify that is what I explained at the beginning of the stream with a story I shared regarding one of my personal experiences in getting to know a woman recently. Go back and check out the replay, or if you skim forward to this part on the replay, go back and listen to my story. It'll help you learn how to better identify when a woman or a man has put you on the back burner. So in my opinion, you can't measure it and you can't predict it. But you just have to learn to identify it. I think that's a better way to put it. All right, let me check out the chat here real quick. Let's see what's going on here. All right. My ex-fiance had a whole Instagram of dudes to hook up with, I found. Wow, that's horrible, man. I would hate that. I wouldn't be with a woman like that. We were together 6 years. It looks like you left her. I can be obvious at times because I get distracted. Crime Steve, don't spam the chat or I will delete them all, literally. Yeah, don't mess with Queen, dude. Look, Crime Steve, I don't want to be mean, dude. You sound like a good dude. And maybe you've been a part of the NIGTAP community in the past. Maybe you've known about me for a while, and I appreciate you getting some value from the show. Or maybe you're somebody that's pretending. I don't know. Maybe you're the dude that's been trolling me. It doesn't matter. As long as we have some, normal back and forth, and it's been normal so far, not a big deal. Queen sitting there, Crank Steve, don't spam the chat or I will delete them all, literally. And she will, dude. She will. But Steve, I'm not trying to come at you. I'm having a good time tonight, and thank you for being here, man. All right, so let's continue here. Measuring the tendency to have a backup boyfriend. To answer the first question, we created a new scale called the Plan B Proclivity Scale, PBP. Oh, PBP. This doctor is creating his own lingo. It measures the degree to which women consider their closest platonic male friend a romantic backup plan. So a lot of women, and this is what it was, with this woman that I got together with in my younger days, I was very close friends with her. We were always friends. And she was dating a friend of mine throughout high school. And she knew my girlfriend that I was dating as well. And it was really weird because her and I would always talk at work because we used to work at the movie theater together. And her and I had great chemistry. We would always get along, very talkative. But the man she was with and the woman I was with, they were a little bit more on the quiet side. So I could always tell we had some good chemistry. And so there's a lot of truth to that where women will look at their closest male friend, if it's a good friendship, and there's some attraction there physically as well, okay, as a romantic backup partner, like the number one backup status, right? And so looking back at what happened to me, that's why when her and I got together, like it was like fireworks. It was electric. Like there was a lot of passion. We were making out. We had a great time, right? And she wanted me. She told me she wanted me. Like she wanted me. And I couldn't do it. And then, I ended the date. And she went home. And she kept calling me and I kept ignoring her. I felt really weird and really bad about it. Now, later on down the road, she ended up getting married, had kids, married the wrong guy, obviously. And her and I still keep in touch on Facebook, and she still lives in the area. And who knows what happens one day? Maybe I'll hang out with her. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of truth to what the blog just stated there. Okay. Strongly disagree to strongly agree. A couple examples of these items are, I'm fairly sure that if given the chance, this person would want to date me. And I discuss personal things with this person. Yeah, it does happen. It has happened to me. It does happen. And it could work. It could work. I guess I wasn't in the right place at that point, or I just really enjoyed her friendship so much. I just didn't feel like taking it sexual and ruining it, even though I was attracted to her. Like, I look back and I'm like, wow, man, I can go back to my 20s and do things over again. Oh my God. You ever think about that? At the end of the scale, we offered a dichotomous, whatever that word is, yes or no question to participants. Separate from anything else, would you say that in your life you have a heterosexual male friend that you consider to be a plan B? The answer to this question lumped participants into a category of either having partner insurance or not having partner insurance. Okay, that's a great way to put it. Note, in part 2, we will present that scale in full and will provide a scoring key, so stay tuned. Predictors of having a backup boyfriend. To answer the second question, what predicts this phenomenon? We have to examine heterosexual female mating strategies through a Darwinian lens. We already know that humans have evolved to utilize a variety of mating strategies, so perhaps partner insurance is just another one. From an evolutionary perspective, considering that fitness is measured strictly by the number of offspring one produces into future generations, it might actually be adaptive for women to have a Mr. Plan B lined up if anything were to happen with the current relationship that causes demise. Raising children alone would be awfully tough. Well, yeah, so if she has kids with some guy and the guy dies or leaves or something, it leaves that woman alone to fend for herself. But we're forgetting one thing, Doc. Women have been liberated and they're working nowadays. And I know many single mothers that make 2 to 3 times as much money as their ex-husbands or ex-boyfriends that they had these kids with. And they're in a much better position. So, while there is some truth to that, yes, who wants to raise kids alone? At the same time, any woman that I've encountered that has kids from a previous marriage or boyfriend, they always make it clear that her kids are important, and that I would understand that, but they're also not looking for a father replacement, which is also BS, because if you're going to date a woman with kids that are under 18, you're going to have some type of a father figure kind of role, whether you like it or not. And with my ex that had 2 teenage daughters, no problem. They were good kids, and it was a great experience. So, yeah. Having an insurance plan for your love life would increase the probability of genetic success. If partner insurance is indeed another one of these female mating strategies, we need to figure out what predicts it. Relationship satisfaction seemed like an obvious place to start. Folks start looking and interviewing for new jobs when they're unhappy in their current position. True, if you're not happy with your work, yesterday I shared some examples on my stream, regarding me getting passed up for promotion working for Costco and what I did to overcome that. So You start looking for a new job when you're unhappy with your current job. You're not getting anywhere. If you're not getting somewhere with your current partner, you let them know, you break up, and then you take a little time to heal. Then you put yourself out there and find what makes you happy. Same thing, right? We can easily argue that someone unhappy in their current relationship may start to wander and look for other romantic opportunities. It happens all the time. It's actually a very natural feeling to feel that way. But if you're unhappy in that current relationship, why wouldn't you express that to your partner? Try to work it out. And if you can't work it out, then you break up. Why do we have to go and find plan B or have a backup plan in place before we, leave our current partner that we're going to leave at some point anyway? The sheer fact alone of people, not wanting to be alone is what it all boils down to. And this more so is true for women. Now, some men are like that too, but more so with women because women are emotional beings. Women don't want to be alone, no matter what they say. Even current modern day, strong, liberated women that are working, making great money, can take care of themselves. They won't admit it, but they don't want to be alone either. Sure enough, those who rated their current committed relationship with low satisfaction were significantly more likely to indicate that, yes, they had partner insurance. Of course. Who wouldn't have that? Give me 1 second. All right, let me make sure that the sound is back. All right, we are back. We're definitely back here. Sociosexual orientation. Oh, wow, that's another word there. Is a fun term that essentially describes an individual's attitude, behavior, and desire for commitment-free sex. Prior research has demonstrated that having an unrestricted sociosexual orientation predicts a desire for preferred mating traits in opposite-sex platonic friends. Okay? Simply explained, this means that if you score relatively high on the scale measuring sociosexual orientation, SOI-R, okay, wow, this doc is creating things left and right, you're more likely to have non-romantic opposite-sex friends who are very much like what you are attracted to in terms of romantic partners. Okay? And sometimes, even if they're non-romantic opposite-sex friends who are very similar to you and want similar things, you'll end up getting with them. Sometimes it could work, sometimes it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, you probably are going to lose the friendship you had before you took it to that level as well. So you got to know what you're getting into before you get into it. This was a huge sign to me that something could be going on here. Lo and behold, women with an unrestricted sexual orientation are significantly more likely to report that they also have partner insurance. I think every woman, if not every woman, most women have partner insurance. It's something that guys have to deal with nowadays. The thing is, for me, if you have partner insurance, I don't want to know about it, and I don't want it affecting our relationship. If you're honest and faithful with me, okay, and you have a friend that's just a friend, keep it that way. I just don't want to even know about it, because if I know about it, it's always going to make me wonder, why is this guy lurking around when I'm not with my woman? Is she hanging out with him? And what's he trying to do? Is he trying to make a move on her? Is he trying to butter her up? Women are emotional beings, and it's very easy for things to happen that shouldn't happen. So why put yourself in that position in the first place? I just wouldn't want to know about it if there was a plan B, or if there was a guy lurking around as friends. I wouldn't want to know about it. An unexpected predictor of partner insurance turned out to be age. After discovering this finding, I had a bit of a duh moment, which is what I'm trying to say. In hindsight, it makes so much sense. Younger women in the same Younger women in the sample were significantly more likely to report having partner insurance than were older women in the sample. The reason this was retrospectively obvious to me is partially due to the nature of menopause. That's a good point. It's a good point. When women are younger, they are more prone to want to have kids and they want to find the right man to have kids. Now, the funny thing is, nowadays, a lot of women don't want to have kids. There are still some that do, but from what I've noticed, more women in their early to mid 20s or even late 20s have no desire to have kids, at least at this point. And a lot of times they don't start thinking about that until they're in their 30s. And then they have to find someone that wants kids, which may take a while. And as they get in their 30s, they get closer and closer to their 40s. And once they get in their 40s, they get closer to menopause, right? And what happens? They start to freak out, right? God, the way this world's become. I wonder how it would be going back to traditionalism. That's what I'm trying to say. How would it be going back to traditionalism? Man, I miss the women of the past. I do. So sweet and innocent and loyal and feminine. I love feminine women. I do. When women are rough and behave masculine and manly, it's a big turnoff to me. Even if they look hot and sexy, if they have that horrible attitude, or not a horrible attitude, but if they try to act like a man, with their personality and their tone of voice, I'm out. Peace out. From a strictly evolutionary and biological perspective, once a female has surpassed the ability to reproduce, she has no reproductive needs to have backup mates lined up. That's a good point. But again, not all women want to have kids, but they still want to have a partner. A lot of women nowadays, there's so many birth control options. You've got IUDs, which are the best form of birth control to use. There's a hormonal, non-hormonal. There's the Depo-Provera shot. There's the pill, which in my opinion is the least effective because women can forget the pill and that could cause issues. But there's so many permanent forms of birth control, and women still want to have that intimacy, and they just don't want to have the kids. At the same time, they want to feel like, like it's real. So a lot of times, like a lot of women don't even like using condoms nowadays. I've asked a lot of my lady friends and all of that, right? And I'm like, why would you not want to use condoms with somebody that you're just, having a casual relationship with? Well, it's kind of like a relationship without the emotional bond and stuff. And I like to feel it natural, and, I want it to feel like it's the real thing without having to commit the time to it or put in, the emotional risk into it. Okay, thanks for your honesty. All right. It could also be the case that partner insurance is simply a younger woman's game that women tend to grow out of. Who knows? Well, some of them will grow out of it as they get older, but some of them keep playing that game as they get older. I've met a lot of women in their 40s and 50s that play games worse than younger women, right? I think it all depends on the individual woman. And if we're going to talk about men as well, I think it depends on the individual man whether they outgrow their game stage or not. And that's why I tell people over and over again, when you're getting to know someone, whether it's on online dating or in person somewhere, right? And there's a spark and an attraction, ask a lot of questions up front and see how open the other person you're talking with is to answering those questions. And if they try to shut you out, then they're not the right fit. Someone that's in a good place to date and wants to be with you for the right reason is going to have nothing to hide from you and is going to be an open book and share everything with you. Okay. Let me see, how much further do we have here? How much longer do we have? I'll check out the chat here in just a second. Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done. Cool. Kind of blitzed right through that. Let me see. We are at 1 hour and 42 minutes. Muttnuts World. Sorry, I had to step away, but I'm back. Welcome back, Mutt. Sorry, welcome back, Mutt. I can't even talk. It's been one of the longest streams I've done in a while. So, yeah, we're gonna be wrapping up about 10 minutes here, Mutt. We're almost done, 10, 15 minutes. So if you folks have any other questions, please get them in the chat. And if you're watching on the replay and you have any questions, please comment below, and I will answer your questions shortly after you put them in the comments section if you're watching the replay and you weren't here live. Okay, let's get right back to this here. Give me just a second. All right. Personality, of course, occurred to me as a potential predictor as well. Personality to me is the most important thing. Now, granted, if I meet a hot, sexy woman with an amazing personality that isn't overly phased or controlled or controls other people with her looks, if she's a beautiful woman but she's humble about her beautiful looks and she has a great personality, amen. But the hot, sexy women, the extremely hot, sexy women nowadays, they know they're hot. They know that's what people want. And I'll tell you what, I have not dated a 9 or 10 in a long time. I mean, and quite honestly, to me, a 9 or a 10, to me, I wouldn't even consider them that because their personality is horrible. For me, the 6, 7s, and 8s are 9s and 10s to me. And the 9s and 10s are 1s and 2s to me. That's just the way the world is nowadays. It's just horrible. It's just the way it is. So yeah, personality to me is extremely important. After all, if those who are more narcissistic engage in more competitive mating strategies, maybe they are also more likely to have a high plan B proclivity. Yeah, possibly. The Dark Tirade measures 3 different but related personality traits. Machiavellism, like Tupac, okay. Psychopathy and narcissism. I predicted that women scoring high in these traits may be more likely to have a Mr. Plan B. Oh yeah, my ex, the one that cheated on me two ex-girlfriends ago, was a narcissist. And she was telling me about her ex-husband, why they went through divorce, because he was a narcissist. But after what she did to me, I realized that her ex-husband was not the narcissist, it was her. She was blaming him to be something that she actually is. She was projecting her insecurities onto him. Wow. What a shocker. After I found out she cheated on me, and then going back to how things were when things were good, when her and I would talk about her ex-husband and, that he was a narcissist. And after what she did, I realized she's the narcissist. Wow. That was a shocker. Nowadays, when anything similar like that happens, it doesn't shock me. After what I went through in that relationship in my early 40s, I'm not surprised at anything else that happens like that with women. And some women out there are not surprised at things that happen like that with men. All right. And sure enough, that's exactly how the data panned out. Women who report being generally more socially manipulative. That's what it is. They manipulate you to get what they want. Because see, women are living in a world nowadays where it's all girl power. Women have been empowered to fend for themselves. They've been empowered to work jobs that were once only known as jobs that men would do. They've been empowered, and some people empower, or some women empower other women by saying we don't need a man for anything, right? But when they're struggling with something, and they know that they need the man's help, they're not going to come out and say, hey, I need your help because I can't do this. They're going to use manipulation, maybe give you some more sex, maybe make you feel amazing, even though they don't feel that way towards you. So that way you naturally feel inclined to help them. without them even having to ask. Understand what I'm saying? That's being socially manipulative in my eyes. That's very well said there, Doc. Emotionally apathetic and overly concerned with themselves are significantly more likely to have a high plan B proclivity than do others, thus supporting the prediction that dark triad personality traits serve as a function of increased sexual competition as well as short-term mating strategies. Yeah, very well said there, Doc. All right, so we've got a couple more small paragraphs here. Bottom line, let me see if there's anything new in the chat. Nothing new in the chat? We're good. We are good. Bottom line, so when all is said and done, what are we looking at? I found that 20% of heterosexual women in committed relationships, 1 in 5, will report having a Mr. Plan B a Mr. Plan B. So 1 in 5 report having a Plan B. You want my honest opinion, Doc, and everyone else, that number is a little bit low. I would probably say 1 in 2. I'd probably say at least 50% of all modern women, if not more, from what I've seen, have a Plan B. It may be a lot higher than that. I think these numbers are very, very dumbed down. Now, it also depends where this guy is from. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm in California. There's a large population here. So I've seen more of this happen. But if you're in more of a rural area, the numbers might be different. But if you take, let's say you take the entire U.S. and you polled every woman in the relationship, I bet you at least 50% of them have at least one Plan B. At least. My research here provides support to the idea of partner insurance being a possible mating strategy among heterosexual women, to the extent that women in committed relationships may consider their closest male platonic friend to be a backup romantic partner. We also now have a new scale that measures this phenomenon to be provided in full with a scoring key, part 2 of this post. As to whether this is a wise or good mating strategy is a whole other matter. Speaking completely anecdotally, I'm guessing Pam and Jim are the exception to the rule, and that Mr. Plan Bs rarely become Mr. Plan As. Further research is needed to find out what are your plans for your master's thesis in psychology. Okay, so when he says there's part 2 of this posting, is there a part 2 of this posting? Because if there is, I will come back tomorrow and I will do it. I don't see a link to it here. But if there is a part 2 of this, then I will continue with this tomorrow and do a part 2 of this stream. If I do a different topic, then you know that part 2 has not been created yet. And he's probably still working on it. But I will say great job. And let me go down to about the author. Glenn Gear, PhD, is a professor of psychology at the State University of New York at New Paltz. He is founding director of the campus's Evolutionary Studies EVOS program. So he founded this program for the college he teaches at. All right. Great job, Doc. Great job. So you're a psychology major. Awesome. Very, very well written. If I had to guess, I don't know if this psychologist professor has the greatest. I'm not saying he has doesn't have the greatest experience with women. Maybe he's married. He must not have a whole lot of experience dealing with modern day women. But I think he's fascinated by what's happening and he's studying it. For someone like myself and other guys, this guy looks like he's probably in his maybe 50s or so, maybe mid-40s, 50s. Maybe he is around the same age as myself, but he's probably been married for so long that he hasn't had to go out there and date to see what's going on. I just don't get the feel he has enough personal experience to have gone through all these things that many men and women are going through nowadays. But it was an interesting read nonetheless. And I look forward to seeing if there's already a part 2, which is what I'm trying to say, or if he's going to be creating a part 2. And once it comes out, if it's there, I will do a secondary stream on it. So thank you so much for a very well written blog there. Let me just go back to full screen here and wrap things up. But before I do that, just set up my browser for the next time I do a review there. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up. There's nothing more I'm going to add to this. It's just interesting what's been going on in the world, to say the least. We all know the modern dating world is different. We all know that it is much more challenging to find true love nowadays. And because it's so challenging, many men and women have decided to withdraw from committed relationships, getting married, having children. They've withdrawn from all that. What I'm trying to say is, I'm losing my verbiage, but what I'm trying to say is that the point of life has always been to procreate, to find someone, share your life with them, have a family, procreate, and that's that. And it's really sad what's been happening instead. And I don't know if we're ever going to go back to a more traditional type of world. If we ever do go back to somewhat of a traditional type of world, I don't think it will ever be the same way it was. I feel that women are always going to have the same power they had today, which is fine. But I'll tell you this. If nothing is done to start helping both men and women, if more and more people, so I keep popping my pop filter, Jesus. All right, there we go. I screwed it up. Hold on. All right, there we go. Yeah, if nothing is done to change things, and to more so teach men and women to understand the modern world, and to help both men and women, especially women, better balance their work and personal lives, it's never going to change. And at some point, like I mentioned in the past, the human species, the human race as we know it today, is going to go extinct. If people stop reproducing at some point, we're going to be like dinosaurs, right? I hope that never happens. It won't happen during my time. I hope that never happens in the future, because human beings are some of the most fascinating creatures ever created. And I'm happy to be a human being. I'm happy to be a man. All right, folks, with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to Mutt Nuts World. Thank you to Queen Helen Casey. Thank you to Crime Steve for being here. Thank you to Stephanie Ellis, a.k.a. Super Steph, for passing on by. I'm not sure if you heard any parts of the show or not, but thank you for being here. And then I forgot who else was here earlier today. There was someone else. I forgot their channel name, but thank you for being here if I failed to mention you. With that being said, I'll be back tomorrow from their live stream. Have yourselves a great night, and I will see you all next time. Take care. We're ending the show at 1 hour and 56 minutes. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. We're out. We're out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.